What's good, everybody? It is your boys, KJ, Patrick, and Nathan. I don't know why I said KJ first, because I'm not him. I'm Patrick, but it's fine. Sometimes you just list them off in alphabetical order because that's the way we do things.
That's not even alphabetical order, though. It's KNP, and you went KPN.
Oh, I did? Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that sounds like a good radio station name.
WKPN.
KPN.
You're listening to The Janchi Show, hosted by three Korean American adoptees diving headfirst into what it means to be adopted, Korean, American, and more. And now, here's your hosts, Nathan, Patrick, and KJ.
What's good, everybody? It's your boys, Patrick, KJ, and Nathan, back again for what is nearly 180 episodes.
Woo-hoo.
What's good, y'all?
March.
Wait, are you guys March Madness people?
I am.
Okay.
My team is not playing very well right now.
All right. Well, happy March Madness to any of you who observe, and happy March to the rest of you. Yeah, I'm good, man. We just had at the time of recording, we just had our Lunar New Year celebration, our local party last night, which is a good time. We went to the zoo, and that was fun, but they had all the cool exhibits closed, which is a bummer. Still a good time, though.
What's a cool zoo exhibit?
Like the giraffes and the gorillas and the lions and the elephants and stuff. Actually, fun aside, the reptile house, when I went to the Dallas Zoo on a field trip, I got stung by a bee outside the reptile house, and I was forever scared of flying, stinging insects from that moment on.
I feel you on that.
So
I got stung by a bee underneath my eye when I was playing kickball in grade school. It flew into between my glasses and my face and stung me. It sucked.
Wow, what a horrible way to go out for both of you.
It's fine. Well, I'm still here.
The bee's not.
I've been traumatized by horseflies.
Horseflies?
Horseflies, I feel, come at you with a vengeance and continue to try to get you sometimes. Whereas a bee or a wasp will just get you like once or twice and then go away. The horsefly literally chased me for, I want to say, 100 feet.
Wow.
Damn.
It was traumatizing. And I was by myself, so I just at one point started to give up because I was tired of running.
Did it bite you?
It did not.
After the 100 feet? Okay.
Luckily, it did not bite me. So,
I was bit by a horsefly, and I rolled into the lake. Like I was just on a little floaty thing. I was bit by a horsefly, rolled into the lake, contracted cellulitis, did not get it checked out. I was on tour in the Midwest, so that happened up in Wisconsin, and then we drove back down to college in Southern Illinois, and then I went to go see a movie, and I went to the bathroom and texted my mom or something. I was like, should I get this checked out? And she was like, yes, you fool. So then after I finished the movie, I then went to the ER, and they were like, they gave me antibiotics. And like, yeah, it's usually not this bad, but we have you on an IV drip because it's that bad. So
I like how you went after the movie.
I know.
Your mom's like, definitely go get this checked out, but we're going to hang out for the movie.
I was like,
exactly.
It's been like this the whole time for like 7 hours. It's not going to get any worse for 45 more minutes.
Fun times with insects.
But that's not what our show is about, right?
What is our show about?
Our show is about telling adoptee stories, usually Korean adoptee stories, broadly Asian adoptee stories. We call ourselves the Janchi Show because Janchi is a Korean word that means to feast. And we believe that whenever we feast, there is a celebration, and we're here to celebrate what makes us who we are. And at the end of the show, we feast on a usually Korean food or drink item. So that is us. We be the Janchi Show. Also, side note, one time I was explaining our show's name to a Korean American, and I was like, Janchi, like the noodles. And she was like, yeah, I got you. And I was like, amazing. I can't just say that to anyone. But I was like, this is great.
How many non-Korean foods do you think we've had on the show? More than 5?
More than 5, but less than 10, I'd say.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
pretty
a
good.
good estimate. Yeah, I would say.
That's pretty good.
And I just sent you guys a new, fresh box of stuff, but I was looking closely at a few of the items that were
Expiration.
No, yeah. Number one, the expiration. I actually did not buy something because the expiration was at the end of March, and it only gave us a month to try it. And I'm like, knowing us, we're gonna skip it, and it's gonna go bad, and you guys are gonna give me crap again. So
Yeah.
I was specifically looking for things that were a little bit later, but yeah, definitely saw some things that were non-Korean. It's getting harder for me. I know I say that every time, but to find specifically Korean snacks. So
Well, I mean, 180 some episodes plus the live shows, like that's a lot of snacks. I'm not saying
it
that
is.
Korea only has 180 produced snacks. I'm just saying
no.
that
My
that's like that's a
store.
lot of stuff for us to try.
Yeah, I went to KJ's store down in K Town, and in his area, and he had so many more snacks at his store, so that I'd never seen
Okay.
before. Yeah, so I think it's regional for sure.
Well, don't
also,
come here.
that was not an H Mart, so that's also different. But
Is that what you shop at? The H Mart?
yeah, that's the only place. That's either H Mart or Great Wall. Those are our only two stores.
The Great Wall. Is that a Chinese first?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so today we thought it would be a good time to talk about the March 1st movement since we are recording on March 1st. And I think it's something that, in the timeline of doing the show, I've been like kind of adjacently aware of, but not like fully aware of. I don't know. What's y'all's relationship to the March 1st Samil movement, which is a historical Korean thing?
I mean,
event.
I think we talked about it on the show one time, maybe in like the
One
first or
time.
second year. One
It
time.
happens
It
every
was a
year,
while
though,
ago.
is the thing.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I think we just
Yeah.
like in passing mentioned it in like an intro or something, and then, or maybe somebody, a guest, maybe brought it up on the show. But I'm pretty sure we've talked about it once. But I think I remember first hearing about it in those early days of doing this, and then, as every American is wont to do, forgot about it. But as I have learned more about it, I think so. First off, to answer your question, not a strong relationship with it, as is my relationship with most Korean things. But I think that I need to learn more about it and like internalize that history, because it seems like something that is right up the alley with why I identify as Asian American, because it's like a term of resistance, and the March 1st movement is a literal act of resistance, I think, based on what I've read.
And-
So
And I assume there could be some people right now listening, Googling this right now, trying to figure out what it is. But we're talking about the protests in Korea from Japanese occupation or ownership, right?
Yes, that is the moment that we're talking about. And I don't think we've ever really, or we might have talked about it on the show, maybe just like, hey, it's happening.
Right.
Because I've had a couple of episodes released around March 1st. But yeah, I don't think we've ever really dug into it. But Patrick, to your point, it is a literal resistance movement. And Nathan, to your point, it is Korea resisting occupation by Japan. It's like an anti-colonial sentiment, colonialism sentiment. And it was started by students. And it was after World War One, and U.S. President Woodrow Wilson was talking about like, I don't even know. I think it was just like some sense of like self-identity, and like nationalism and things like that. And I think that as that message spread around the globe, it was students that like heard that and were like, we have created our own Declaration of Independence. And that's the thing that sparked this kind of revolt against Japanese occupation. Didn't work. But it's still remembered, I think, in a lot the same way that we remember July 4th as like, this is the moment that changed everything, which I think is so interesting given where we are today, being Korean American, living through our own government weaponizing like its own military force against its own people, like we've seen in Minnesota. Like, where does that, like, even knowing just a really broad history, how does that hit you being Korean American in America in this time, given the history of our nations?
I mean, I'm still surprised at the fact that the date that we're talking about, March 1st, is 1919. Thinking that Korea was not South Korea. It was not its own country at 1919. That's barely over 100 years from now. That kind of is mind-boggling just in itself for me. I mean, I know, our country is what, 250 years old or 240 years old, right? So it's that's still fairly young, but I don't know, for some reason thinking about a country that we're a part of being, not fully the country that it is now in, just barely over 100 years is still kind of wild to me.
Yeah.
I appreciate you bringing up the time span and it not being very much time at all, because they've already experienced, like, I feel like a number of resistance movements to quote unquote tyrannical governments when the split has happened. And just recently, as recently as like last year or whatever, I think the former president is in jail indefinitely for trying to start a coup. And so I think, like, it makes me more proud, I think, to be Korean, to know this history, especially thinking about, like you said, where we are with our own government. Not only the violence against our own people, which is terrible, and happening in a lot of places, but now we're going to war with Iran for why? Because of the Epstein files. So let's just be honest. And I think, like, it kind of gives me hope, I guess, to think that people have been capable, and not just in Korea, but I'm sure in a lot of different places, to rise up, resist, suffer the consequences of resisting, and still force a change to occur. I think, like, that gives me a lot of hope, to be honest. And it makes me proud to be Korean, more so than I think I probably ever have in, the 5 years of doing this and the 31 other years that I've been on this earth. So, yeah. Wait. Yeah.
Check.
I turn 36 next week.
Yeah.
So I was like, wait, did I just make myself 41? So I wasn't sure. Not good at math. But yeah, proud and hopeful. Proud of the past, hopeful for the future, I should say.
Yeah, I think I'm always shocked, Nathan, to your point about how long South Korea has been a country, in that it is barely one person's lifetime. It's just beyond one. And I think that's why Min Jin Lee's novel Pachinko is so powerful, is because it starts right before the March 1st movement. Right before it starts, like right before Japan occupies Korea and all of that kind of stuff. And one of the things that always is so, like, it makes me really proud to be Korean, but it also, like, I don't even know how to describe it. I don't know. I guess it's cool. When I think about the March 1st movement, I remember that Korean, like literal Korean language, is a language of resistance, because Japan at the time was trying to forcibly put down any resistance, and then they did more, like, quote unquote culturally appropriate ways of putting that down. But part of that was, like, you weren't allowed to speak Korean. You couldn't, like, they just removed all Korean culture. So all Koreans had to learn Japanese. They had to, like, do all these things, like take on new names and all that kind of stuff. And even as I'm saying that out loud now, like, just the idea of names, certainly as adoptees, those things that we are given, that we cling to, that may or may not be given to us by our birth families, but certainly come from our birth countries. The idea of renaming and those kinds of things. Yeah, I don't know. It all swirls and comes together in my brain in ways that just fill me with, like, interest and passion and pride. And yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I think it's cool. And I think it's tragic that it didn't work. And it's really powerful that in spite of that, we're still talking about it, because, I mean, it didn't work, like, immediately, but it worked in a way that, like, South Korea is no longer under Japanese occupation. Like, that's not a thing.
It planted the seed.
Yeah, exactly. And I've been listening to this book called Courage is Calling by Ryan Holiday. And Ryan Holiday is an author who like talks about stoicism, and so he wrote a series of books on the 4 virtues of stoicism, of which one of them is courage. And I'd started listening to it a while ago, kind of way before we had even realized and thought about talking about the March 1st movement. But I realized, given the past, especially the tenor of the past couple of episodes, if you've listened to them, there's been a lot of like, I don't know, I'm angry, I'm confused, I'm nervous, I'm scared, like just a lot of feelings there. And I think for me, when I heard about this book and I heard about this author, I realized I don't think I've been courageous. I don't think I've stepped up to the plate. And not like I don't, my life does not require a lot of courage from me broadly, but I think I have seen the edge of where I might need to be courageous, and I have actively backed away from it. And listening to this book, I'm like, I think I got to change that. And so now, recording on March 1st, given the history and the context of our people, both the Korean side and American side, I just feel compelled to be courageous, or compelled to be willing. And I think about the Korean people who stood up and formed a largely nonviolent protest and rebellion. And I say largely nonviolent; it wasn't entirely nonviolent, but for the heart of it was nonviolent. And it was regular people that spanned class line. It spanned, demographics and socioeconomics. But it was people that came together, our people that came together to say, like, we don't want this. We believe that we are here, basically. It makes me think of, obviously, of our neighbors in Minnesota, and then our neighbors here, like where we live. And while I am inspired by the courage of Minnesotans, I am also called to question my own conviction. I don't know. That's just like, that's been on my mind lately.
I mean, I think it's always a good question to ask yourself in moments like these. I think one of the hardest things for me has been kind of, I guess, struggling with that same thing and thinking like these conversations that I have and the stuff that I do just behind the scenes, offline, is like, okay, this is what I can contribute. And then you see people literally, well, here in America for sure, like giving their lives or having them taken. But out in the streets, and especially when it was like super fucking cold, like just being outside. And then like, I don't know, man, like this Iran shit is fucked up. Like they bombed a girls' school, and killed like 80 children. And it's like, thinking about all the people who have given literally the most, whether they wanted to or not, and being like, am I actually doing enough stuff? And like, to your point, feeling like when there are lines, maybe not in the sand, but lines that are like, okay, this is the time to maybe step over. Have I been stepping over the line and doing the thing? Or have I been, I don't want to say cowardly, but I am going to say cowardly. Just feeling like, similarly to you, even though I do feel like I have been active in doing a lot of different things, am I not only doing enough, but am I actually being brave? Am I actually being courageous in the way that other people have been? For all the things I feel like I've done, I haven't been out there at 3 a.m. in negative 20 degrees, like yelling at ICE officers, in their faces. But yeah, no, I just wanted to say that I resonated with you, and just, there's so many, it feels like an endless spew of terrible things happening that are also calling on people, ordinary people, citizens, constituents. I keep using the word constituent, even though I'm not a political or elected official. That's the word I keep using to describe a whole swath of people. Just like there is some level of like, okay, things need to be done.
Yeah, Patrick, I appreciate you sharing that. And I was reminded of something that's interesting in the book. It's like, it's not like you're courageous all the time. Sometimes you just need like 6 seconds of insane courage. And obviously the movie, well, I say obviously, the movie that Minji has had on repeat, thus that we have had on repeat in this house, is The Lion King. And today I was watching it with her, and it was the scene where Simba gets in trouble with Mufasa for going into the elephant graveyard. And he just goes like, I was just trying to be brave like you. And Mufasa goes, I'm only brave when I have to be. And it just reminded me again that, it's not, I say never. Chances of me having to deal with sub-0 degree temperatures and also dealing with ice agents is very low, because if I'm in sub-0 degree temperatures and it's still Texas, I feel like I'm going to have bigger problems than ice agents. You know what I mean? But I think the thing that I was calling into question was when I moved back to Texas, I think I had a pretty strong sense of, I'm moving back. I am this person. I need to make sure that I am wholly this person, and that as I come back with my wife, thinking about having a child, I want to make sure that my wife and child have safe spaces, and that people understand kind of what we're about. And so I think I went into a lot of maybe conversations, relationships, whatever, a little too hot, a little too argumentative. And so then I reeled it back. And I think in reeling it back, I settled into a level of comfort, and we don't need to talk about hard things because we love each other, which may or may not be true. Like, I don't know that one precludes the other, but now I feel myself sometimes getting close to that edge again of, do I need to step in and say something, or can I kick that can down the line until a later date? And that's, I think, the moment of courage that I'm talking about, is having a hard conversation with your family or someone who is important to you in your life that may not agree with you or whatever, for the purposes of physical, emotional, mental safety, or just like having a good dialogue about differing political views, or any number of things. So not courage in the big things, because I think realistically the chances of any of us having to face quote unquote the big things, while they may be growing, are still kind of low. But I think just courage in the daily things, to do things that do make a difference for maybe the most important people in our lives.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, courage can be just the discussions, like you said, with family, about our adoption, about our stories. But it can be that courage to even want to talk about it, or to identify as something specific, or even commit to a ideal. I think is something for me that sometimes is hard. I find like, oh yeah, this person is really talking, passionately about this thing, and I want to I want to really take it in and like learn from it, or see how I can relate to it. But sometimes I'm like, oh, but then, there's a little bit of a tangent to it that I'm like, oh, I don't know if I 100% believe in that one. And so then I wrestle with, should I talk about it? Because I'm like on the fence about like a topic or something like that. And I don't want to sound, that I don't know everything about, that specific topic, and sound like an idiot or something like that, or things like that. So I find myself not engaging in conversation about certain controversial topics because I don't know the full information on them.
Yeah.
And that's where I sometimes lose my courage.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, for sure my mind has been pretty locked in on the big stuff, but also because it's related to stuff here at home that's happening that, while seemingly small, will become big, most likely here in the next few months. But that being neither here nor there, I think it's fucking courageous to just get out of the bed in the morning. I think just living your life, regardless of what else is happening in the world, is a courageous thing to do. Because personally, I have been doing better, I guess, but like, I don't know, it's just been hard days recently, just for whatever reason, like in my own brain. And I think about my struggles, and then I think about somebody who is struggling more in that same kind of sense with like mental health or whatever the case might be, literal disability. And I am just like, yeah, that's a hard thing to do sometimes. And people get the fuck up and do it. And I think it's not just that they're doing it, it's that it is hard, but they choose to do it anyway. And I think that takes a lot of courage, a lot of bravery. And yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. Just the small stuff. Like, I think that just life in general, not that life is small, but like, not to diminish anybody's lived experience. I think it's all difficult in our own ways and circumstances.
Yeah. I think my level of courageousness has changed based on who I'm with sometimes too, because my family definitely comes first. And I would love to be a part of some of the protests and some of the rallies that have happened. But like recently, was somewhat recently, they did the No Kings rally. And we didn't participate because we were all out to lunch at the time. But we saw them, and I was like, no, I don't want to take my family into that, just in case. But at the same time, I want my kids to know what it's about, and I want them to understand why these people are out here, what mommy and daddy's beliefs are, and let them understand that they can, someday make their own choices as well, if they want to participate in things. But I wanted to show that we stood by certain beliefs. And so instead of getting out and making, flyers, banners, and, cheering with the crowds and stuff like that, we drove through with the rest of there's like a line of cars going through honking for support. And so we did that kind of like cheering and waving out of the window. And that was our safe way to participate. And that was for us, our level of courageousness was that right there, is to do that. And it was a line, though. We didn't want to, like you said, jump over too far, just for safety purposes.
Yeah. And I mean, personally, I think that's great because you've got young kids and they are not necessarily at an age where they're able to parse through what's happening on a super deep level. But I think you're modeling for them, like, this is how we can show up and be supportive. And we are one in a long line of cars that are doing the same thing that we are here and supporting. So you don't, like, support means a lot of different things, and so it just showing up in that way, I think is really important too. It's not like you're, especially in a country where mass shootings are common. I think like it is a good thing to do it that way, and I'm grateful both to the people who are on the street with their signs and doing those rallies and those things. And I'm grateful for people like you who drive through and honk their horns and support, because I think that both things are important, that they may not be able to, for any number of reasons, stop and stay and be there a while. But just showing up and doing that support is important. And yeah, I think like the small things, like we talked last episode about code switching and things. And I went to the park with Minji this morning, and there was a group of white families playing. And I, for the first time in my life, because I saw a little girl's shirt had the word Jesus on it, I considered, do I need to call my daughter Olivia? Do I need to not speak in Korean to her? Because I don't want to get into any number of things, because I see, which politicians people are supporting in their yards. And I'm all for you being loud about supporting who you support, But there was a real like code switching thing of, what do I do here? What is safe? And they were pretty innocuous. So I was like, I think it's fine. The chances of me seeing them again are whatever. But just the pause in me to be like, all right, what do I do? But I think it would be more weird for me to call Minji Olivia, which I have only really ever earnestly done like 3 times. Twice it was just to see if she knew her name. And then once it was because I was angry.
You got
at
to
her.
test that out. You got to run those tests.
So, yeah. Well, she goes by Olivia in daycare.
Sure.
So, but like, I have never called her that really, except for the time that I was angry. But she was so young, it was she probably has already forgotten about it. But But yeah, so that was just a real like, oh man, and not to big myself up or belittle myself, but I think like in the parameters of this conversation, that was a real moment of, I guess, courage, just to be like, you know what, I'm gonna be, I guess, really, yeah, Nathan, to your point, this is the principle, this is the ideal that I want to live by. So I'm gonna say this is who I am and this is who we are as a family, and everybody else is gonna be okay with that for right now. Like, we live in America, and this is part of what makes America America.
Yeah, I went to a forum for mutual aid recently, and one of the things that one of the people said was that everybody has a place in the movement, and that unfortunately, because it's always about like people not wanting to participate and stuff like that, but just like people that it's just like the hardest things that people try to do, it feels like you have to do them alone and by yourself. And the truth is that there are a lot of people out there that have different capacities, different skills, different whatever it might be. And that thing that they have is exactly what they need to be a part of the thing. But they don't have, you can contribute more if you want, but you don't have to, because at the end of the day, who you are and what you bring to the table is enough to be a part of that. And I think that, like, there's always a lot of rhetoric around, I said it even tonight, like not doing enough. And I think that I may have been misspeaking in saying that particular phrase. But I think at the end of the day, you have to be able to understand your own capacity and your own limit and where the line even might be. Because if you ever want to cross the line, or if you ever feel like, okay, this is where it is, like, then like you have that foundation, that boundary, or whatever it might be to cross in the first place. And I think to have that set of whatever it is courageous. I think it is brave to be able to set that up for yourself. And I think that's something that I've been struggling with lately, is just like sometimes not being able to see the line and feeling like, and that's why it feels like not enough. Like I'm not doing enough, because it feels like the line has been obliterated. It's just in my perspective on everything as small as being a parent in my own household to everything that's happening in the world, and feeling like I need to give and give and give more. And the reality is people do that, and like they end up giving literally everything, and then they're gone, and we lose that person's unique abilities, their skills, everything that they brought to the table, whether it was taken deliberately or by some other means. Like, we lose that. And so knowing like, okay, here's the limit, and I can go over the limit when I want to, but also like I know I gotta get this here in order to even reach the limit, and be effective and be present in my relationships and my community and my neighborhood, wherever it is, whatever you do. I think it's like super important. And in a time where it feels like we're being pressed to do more, and because in some certain respects you kind of do have to, depending on what your situation is, like you might have to do a lot more, and that fucking sucks. But I think like that thing at the mutual aid forum about, just like know that you're not in it alone, and know that there are people that have complementary skills to whatever you might need, or whatever the case is. And that has, I think, helped me a little bit think about, okay, maybe I should breathe a little bit more. Maybe I should slow down. Maybe I shouldn't eat that sandwich at 9:30 at night because I want to show up more fully present and be the best version that I can possibly be at the moment, for if the big stuff happens. But I got to show up in the little ways, in the little things in my life. Sorry, this is all an affirmation of what you both said, but especially you, Nathan. It's just about like, I know the limit and where I'm willing to cross, and you have 3 kids. I only have 1 kid. So like that's another maybe less of a barrier to having to form a line because, yeah. So,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, in the end, I would probably protect my 3 kids just as much as you would protect your 1 kid. So, in the
For sure.
the level of protection, I think that's the same fears and same level of parenthood. But another thing is, I know we've had a lot of topics that we've talked in our last couple of episodes, and we've had some people message us and stuff and saying, thanking us for being courageous and even talking about these topics and things like that. So not to toot our own horn right there, but I do say that when people talk about it, that's also, I think, courageous. And so if anybody is out there talking about it within their own circles, talking about it with people, community members, or just sharing information, I think that is courageous. And it does. You don't have to be doing a podcast to be courageous. So.
Yeah, you definitely don't have to be doing it out loud in public for public consumption. Yeah, I was reminded. I don't remember who I was telling this to or why it came up. I think I was talking to Sarah, but I was just like I was telling her like my whole desire, my drive for doing the show is if it eases the emotional burden of one other adoptee to say, hey. I just listened to this episode and they talked about XYZ and I want to talk about this with you, person, but it would help both of us. It would help the conversation if you listen to this episode first. Then I feel like I've done my job as one part of the triangle of the Janchi show. And Patrick, to your point, I think about capacity and what we have and you're not in it alone. And I think that's my contribution to the community and to others is just, hey, if doing this podcast helps ease your burden to have to improve a relationship or whatever, then I am so happy to be there for you. And I'm so happy to give this show as a resource for you to make your life a little safer, a little more normal, a little more full of love, whatever. If you are able to have a hard conversation because of it, then great. And one of the things that I was reminded of in the book that I was listening to is it only takes one courageous person to inspire others to courage. And they were telling stories of if a city was under siege and they in ancient Greece, then the Greeks would call to Sparta for help. And they would be like, you sent one Spartan soldier? And be like, yeah, but that's all it takes. It's just one person with their head straight on their shoulders, full of courage, inspires many others to take action. And I think to draw full circle, it was the act of a few who wrote and read the Declaration of Independence for South Korea that inspired millions to a movement. And we remember them today. And so I think that's just that thing of, it can be lonely, but it's not lonely for long. And you may feel alone, but there is a host of people ready to walk alongside you and ready to come. If one person is courageous, then you will find many others are willing to be courageous with you. And yeah, so that was just something that was all right, maybe I need to consider, is now the time to cross that line? Do I need to do more work so that I'm ready when that's not an option and I just have to, those kinds of things. So yeah, it's been on my mind, and I am earnestly, and I can say this without any sense of sad irony, I am earnestly grateful to my Korean elders and ancestors for doing such a cool thing that we remember on this March the 1st. So 감사합니다 to my elders, to our elders.
감사합니다. I like it.
Yes.
No further addition. That's not true. I always got something to say, but
that's why you said I like it.
I can't follow that up. I can't follow it up.
On that note, let's go to a food item right now.
Welcome back to the Janchi Show. Time to eat some snacks.
Nice.
We are back. We have snacks, new snacks. Yes, not expired snacks. We have a tasty something that actually I let them pick which one they wanted to eat out of the box I sent them. But
I kind of just told you both what we were going to eat.
Yes,
Yeah, Patrick declared it.
He did. He went right for this one thing, which is actually funny. I thought you were going to go for the chocolate. So
KJ made mention of the chocolate gods answering my prayers.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I did fulfill. But today we are eating tempura seaweed. Why was that funny?
Nathan, you are my god.
You,
Oh,
yeah.
sure. I
that,
am your
that-
snack
that's
god.
why it was
your
funny.
snack god.
Snack god.
Yes.
Yep.
I am
You
your
are my
snack
SG.
god. We are
Emily's
eating
down here. She's probably like, what is happening?
tempura seaweed, chili lime flavor, tau kei noi. Who makes this? This looks like a I don't know.
I'm gonna assume it's Tao Kai Noi.
Yeah.
because
So-
it's Japanese.
No, it's Thailand.
Oh, it's Thailand.
It's Thai, but I think some of that is Japanese characters because it's a tempura, thing. But it says it's a product of Thailand. So either way, it looks tasty, and I love rice cracker snacks. And I like spicy things. So I think these are going to be good.
All right. There's a lot of stuff written on this bag that I just need to make mention of. The first one is
right.
at the bottom and the front. It says serving suggestion. And then there is no suggestion anywhere on the bag or on the front of the bag. The other thing I was going to point out is it says, if leaked, improper seal, or weak product situation, please do not eat.
Yes. Don't eat.
I've
silica.
never heard of a weak product situation.
Don't eat the silica. Okay.
Yeah, is that like a non-American thing where they just put those silica packets in the food?
I feel like they come in like beef jerky too,
Yeah, I've seen them
Okay,
here.
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
but I don't know that I've seen them in any other product that I've purchased that is made in America.
So yeah, it's about the size of a $0.50 maybe.
Like a Cheez-It cracker, like a slightly
It's-
oblong Cheez-It cracker.
Yeah, but for chili and lime, it doesn't have much smell at all. Like it doesn't smell
More
like
like for
anything.
shrimp tempura, it doesn't have much smell.
But it has a lot of taste. Okay.
I agree. This smells like just like a wheat cracker or something.
Yeah, it doesn't have a. Trust me, the taste is way more strong than the smell.
Initial bite, very good.
Yeah.
I like. This is also probably the most appropriately stuffed bag. Like it's not filled to the brim.
Oh, I think it's really under.
Yeah.
It's under packaged.
Okay,
I
maybe
think it's
not.
under
Yeah,
packaged.
it's less. Yeah, less than.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out of the size of the bag, it's like I want to say a sixth full at the bottom.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. There's some package waste going on, but the flavor
KJ's
and it's
got
so
thoughts.
crunchy. So crunchy.
yeah, it's mega crunchy. I mean, it just tastes like a puffed rice cracker. Super crunchy. I don't get a strong like tempura flavor, but it is like a tempura vibe, if you will. It's really lime forward. I don't know if you guys think that, but I think it's like there's just like a lot of lime, and then it finishes with chili like 3 seconds later than you think when you typically think of it finishes with XYZ. The chili comes in a little bit later even than that. So yeah, it's pretty. I think it's a good flavor. It's not like a strong spice though. So like if you wanted something, it's like a little more like a Mexican kind of chili lime, whatever. Like that's not going to be that. But it's not bad.
I feel like I would say that exact same thing, but in reverse to the flavors. So I get the
Really?
chili. I feel like I'm hitting the chili first, and then the lime is coming in after. Like that 3 second after, I feel like is exactly how it's coming across to me.
Eat more. See if it still feels like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been smashing on them. I like it.
Patrick,
I
or-
actually
no,
do like I like it a lot. I don't
Yeah.
think that. I mean, I agree with everything you're saying, but I am
Yeah.
enjoying these.
I'm with KJ. I get lime first and then spice second. Well,
I think I almost ate a silica packet.
Maybe my brain is just broken.
I will say it's really crunchy without feeling like it just will destroy my mouth, which is I feel like it's hard to do. You know,
Yes.
it's crunchy. Like if you imagine if you have had a Trader Joe's mochi nugget, cut that, like slice that in half, and then like that's probably about the size that you get and the level of crunch. But even those, like they're kind of tough, so it's like kind of tough on the mouth, but like so it's more gentle, but still the same crunch as that. So yeah, I think it's really good.
They remind me of it's like popcorn chips. What is it?
Like
They have like jalapeno,
Popcorners?
maybe. Yeah, that. Like the texture, not the taste.
Yeah, like the puff
Or like a sun chip.
the fried puffiness.
Kind of a combination. Yes.
yeah,
Yes?
yeah.
I'm insane.
But it's like it's more crunchy than it's more crispy crunchy than a popcorner. That's why I went with
right.
like a mochi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I actually
It's
think
good.
it's more like a sun chip now, but even crunchier and crispier than a sun chip.
if you put like 3 of them together,
I'm outside of my mind. I don't know. I don't know what I'm tasting.
my only
Well-
gripe is
No.
because it's so not full. I have to stick my hand way
Same.
in, and then I feel like I just get all the flavored dustings and whatever else is in the bag on my hand, which I hate that. And since we're just sitting here, I didn't bring a pair. Well, I didn't expect to need a pair of scissors upon opening the bag to cut off like half of the bag. So that's a gripe. That's definitely a knock on this whole experience.
You need those finger chopsticks. Have you seen those? They're like for snacks.
I think those are just called chopsticks, my guy.
No, they. Fine. Make me buy them for you. I'm going to buy them for you, and you'll see. They're different.
Oh, for
No, they wrap around your fingers. They wrap around your fingers, and then you just do like this. And you pick stuff up. That, but
Interesting.
yes,
I don't know.
That's right. Those are going in the next box.
I
would just use
wish there were more.
chopsticks.
I wish there was
That's
more
what
in
I'm
this bag.
saying.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. I'm actually like I'm done, and I'm like those were great. I would totally wish this was a bigger bag where I could reseal it and need some more later. So,
Yep.
but okay, ratings. I'm guessing KJ's is going to be the lowest.
I mean, I'd give it like a 4. I think it's a really solid snack. I'm just like, I have gripes about the packaging. Like the design is great. The actual like the package, the air to product ratio is horrible. But other than that, I think it's really good. So, yeah, I'd give it a 4. It's a solid snack, and I would generally be happy buying them, except probably for the dollar amount per individual tempura thing. That seems a little high.
Agreed. I would also say a 4. I was going to give it a 3.5 because I really want another bag. I'm like, man, I'm not done eating these.
That should be
And I don't
higher
have
then.
any chips to go back. But that's what I'm saying. I'm mad about the product to air ratio.
Quantity. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll go with 4 though, because the flavor is very good. And its pros outweigh its cons
Yes.
in that way.
All right. I mean, I love chili and lime, so definitely this was something that stuck out to me when I saw it in the store. And this same brand also makes these little seaweed rolls. They're like little like snack seaweed rolls, and my kids love those. So I know they make a lot of seaweed flavored snacks and stuff. So I'm going with a 4.5. So because I like it. Same thing. The thing that's knocking it down is the snack to bag ratio. That's the only thing that knocks it down for me. I think it could be either a smaller bag or more snacks in there. But other than that, I think everything else was perfect on it. So
I don't consider
4.5
myself to be
for
a chip aficionado, but I am a person that has consumed many chips. And I am very familiar with Dorito and Lay's flavored chili and lime. And I would say this is the best chili and lime flavored chip that I've probably had.
Wow.
100%. It's just
Yeah.
like it's the right amount of the season, like of the seasoning or whatever, the dusting.
Yeah.
The other
And
two,
this is-
too strong.
this is healthier too because it has seaweed in it.
See? And the health
So-
factor. I could eat 4 of these bags. and it would probably be very terrible for me, but it would be fine.
I didn't even look at the sodium content. Wait, 200 milligrams. Not bad.
Yeah, it's only 9%.
Yeah, 200 calories per bag. So, yeah.
One
Wait,
bag,
that's
one
two-
serving size.
200
I would say
calories
that.
per bag is actually really disappointing given the low amount of snack that I just consumed.
I would say for what's in it, too. I mean, it's not like super. I mean, it's kind of carby because of the tempura, whatever's on it that makes it crunchy. That's
Isn't it
really where you
exclusively
get
carbs?
That's really where you get all the carbs. Yeah, that's where you get the calories from.
Oh, actually, it's 20 carbs and 12 fat. Yeah, that's a little high.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's high on the
Do they
fat,
make
but I'm
like
assuming
big
that's
bags of
oils.
these, or is this the only size?
This is only size. Yeah. And they were about
how they get you.
$4 each. Yeah, $4 a bag.
You know what?
But-
Knowing that, I'm going to knock my rating down. I'm going to go down to 3.75. After seeing, okay, because my gripe with, again, taking it back to Trader Joe's, the mochi nuggets is a serving size of mochi nuggets is 5 mochi nuggets. So again, when you think about the product to calorie ratio, that's way off. Like sometimes one of the reasons I love to eat popcorn is like some nights I just want to eat 1,000 of something, and I don't want to eat like 1,000 calories, but I do want to eat 1,000 things. And popcorn is great for that. So it's like calorie to thing ratio is amazing. This is a little high for me, again, because it's so little packaged, but it's 200 calories and it's a lot of fat for those. I was like, well, I don't know. So yeah, 3.75. Still a good product, but now I have to be a lot more mindful about when I snack on them, and that's a bummer. I don't want to be doing all that mental math.
I've never thought about eating popcorn that way, and now I'm going to start doing it. It's a good way to think about it.
We talk about, like, at least in my house, we talk about, like, sometimes you just want to veg out, and, like, if you're not careful, you can just stand in the kitchen and just, like, scroll on TikTok and, like, finish a whole party-sized bag of Doritos, and you're like, I just ate, like, 4,000 calories. But if you eat, like, a whole box of popcorn, you're like, I just ate 20 calories. And you're like, well, you know, the caloric density, that's, like, a lot better for you, so.
Wait, you mean a whole bag of popcorn?
Well, I mean, I buy the big cartons and then pop it myself. So,
Oh, okay, I got you.
yeah, but like you could
I
go
was like,
through like a
12
large
bags of popcorn.
No. But even if you
That's a
ate
lot.
12 bags of popcorn, it would still the caloric density is still a lot lower. So
That's a good point. That's a good point.
your
I
gut
am
would
not
be
gonna
ruined though, 'cause
knock
that's a lot of fiber.
It's true.
Nathan's offended. I'm not going to knock it for that.
I'm not knocking it because of the calorie content, just because I'm not comparing it to popcorn. It's like comparing an apple to an orange and knocking one because it's not as citrusy or something. No, this is a snack that I I'm not gonna call it popcorn. I'm not,
I did
I'm not
call it
eating this
popcorn.
because I want popcorn. So
You're ridiculous.
I'm calling
That
it
is
what
so
it is.
funny.
I'm not.
We're just
I'm not judging it based on other snacks. Sorry.
That's literally the whole point of this segment.
No, I'm judging it for the snack itself.
Okay. No, I'm also judging it for its price point. We don't Patrick and I, since we don't buy the snacks, like we don't know. So it could be like, oh, this is
Yeah.
awesome. And then like if you went and that thing costs $10, it'd be like, well, heck no, I'm not gonna buy that. Especially for how, so it's like it's that.
Sure.
It's both caloric density and also price point. Those things matter, and those are one of those things Patrick and I aren't usually privy to. So
I want
most of
more
this-
calories.
Most of the stuff is more expensive because it's imported, so
that's
you
fair.
won't find it as cheap as popcorn. So unless it's popcorn from Thailand. On that
Hashtag
note-
tariffs.
Yeah.
Refer back to our previous conversation if you want to hear us get into it. Get into the state of the world.
Yeah, it's fine. Well, on that note, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Wait, did we do all the ratings? Yeah, everybody gave it ratings. Thanks so much for hanging out with us and for listening to us. If you want to get in touch with us, you can reach out at Janchi Show on all social platforms that we exist on, or send us an email to janchishow@gmail.com. I said I was going to bring back a phone number, and I forgot until just this moment. So maybe there'll be a phone number by the next episode. If you want merch, you can DM Nathan until we get our store back up.
Yes. Yes.
He's
that
got
is true.
merch that he'd probably love to get out of his garage/attic/bedroom. Yeah. Otherwise, I think that's it for the show. Yeah. Holla at me wherever I want to be found on the internet at KJ Roelke.
I am in No Walk on Instagram.
And I am Patrick in the World. Also follow me on Substack, same handle.
Yeah, follow him on Substack. And until next time, Janchi, hail!
Hail!